Tonight on Chronicle, you've seen the hit show, now meet the real deal.
What do you think of the TV series? Have you watched the show, PanAm?
Yeah, it's not like in my day. Well, there's several that played, and they're fooling around. We didn't do that.
First-class memories from one of Pan Am's original 5 stewardesses.
It was really a very exciting life.
On Chronicle.
The ABC series Pan Am is full of excitement and drama and romance, but no more than the real-life story of Betty Postlethwaite. She was a young secretary for Pan Am when they shifted from pontoon planes to the Lockheed Constellation, their first land plane that would go around the world.
And for the first time, they were going to have a stewardess on board. On the boats, as they had called them before, they always had a man, a steward.
The year was 1946. Betty rushed to the airport, becoming one of the first 5 stewardesses in the Atlantic Division. Her boss gave her a St. Christopher medal. Now 90 years old, she still wears it.
This is my world wings, as the stewardess thing, the world wings. Yeah, it was quite a life. Yeah, it is still good.
Betty lives at the Taylor community in Laconia, sharing fond memories of a life that included travels that took her around the world many times. You said having an international map is important to you.
Oh, it's an essential, yeah. One time you'd go down to Africa and you'd be gone, a week or two, I've forgotten how long. That other picture is a flight from Africa, right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we had landed. Another time you'd go out to Calcutta or something like that. It was really a very exciting life. You had to live by your wits if you had any left, yeah.
The television show takes place in the 1960s, after her time. By then, there was more than one stewardess on each plane, and the job had become very glamorous.
Boy, well, I always remember I did have to wear high heels. I have a bunion still.
What do you think of the TV series? Have you watched the show, PanAm?
Yeah.
What do you think?
It's not like in my day.
What's different?
Well, there's several that played, and they're fooling around. We didn't do that.
You weren't goofing off?
No, it was, and what gets me is they have somebody named Dean, which was Dean's name.
He's the pilot.
Yeah, and it wasn't like that.
Indeed, by intriguing coincidence, the captain on the TV series has the same first name as Betty's late husband, Captain Dean Postlethwaite, one of Pan Am's first pilots. They met in 1947 on layover in Europe and started dating.
Until finally Dean just said to me on one of our dates, I wish you wouldn't go out anymore because I'd like to get married. And I just said, okay. That was it.
So what happened to being a stewardess?
Oh, you had to quit. You couldn't be a stewardess if you were married in those days.
Was that okay with you?
Well, sure, I married Dean.
Dean Postlethwaite was an Illinois farm boy with an agriculture degree who had joined the Air Force when Pan Am hired him. They went on to have 3 children and lived in Connecticut, spending summers on Squam Lake as Dean's storied career took off.
He took Kennedy to Alaska, the press plane, where he made his announcement about running for president. Yeah, Dean was very impressed with that.
He wasn't so impressed when he flew the Beatles to America for the Ed Sullivan Show.
Oh, when he landed in New York, there was this mob scene there, and he came home, and the kids were young then, but they knew who the Beatles were. They got all excited about it.
My sister and I were teenagers, and so we went nuts. And we went completely nuts. And we thought it was hysterical that he didn't know who they were.
As a Pan Am family, they got to travel the world together. And when Dean neared mandatory retirement age, they bought a farm in North Sandwich. Still, he had one more big trip to take before he settled in. Sandwich resident pilots Pan Am 747 Superjets. And that was back when they were the new big thing, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was the start.
He captained the 747's inaugural flight from New York to Paris in March 1970. Does it ever strike you as interesting that the captain of the plane in the TV series Pan Am is Dean, as was your dad?
I think they looked him up.
36 years meritorious service. He retired 7/24/76. 1940 is when he joined Pan American.
For the next 30-plus years, it was life on the farm in North Sandwich.
We loved it. And that's where he retired eventually. And he was back to farming, and he would dig away and make cider and maple syrup and all that kind of stuff. We joined everything in sight. And there was a lot of volunteer things to do. And it turned out to be the best place we ever lived.
Dean Postlethwaite passed away just after their 56th wedding anniversary.
But he was close to 89. We had a good run.
They were adventurers. That's how I think of them. That in the 40s, when you think about that, to go off onto airplanes, that was really unheard of. And it just seemed like it was always a great adventure.
The TV show Pan Am may play up the glamour of a high-flying industry, but Betty and Dean Postlethwaite are proof that some of life's best stories are found right at home.